What prompted you to start Rio Grappling Club?
Well, first of all, when I made my transition from Bara Gracie to the team, that this team was those two coaches, Murilo and Sergio, they had a team together called Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club. Okay, and Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club at the time when I was a brown belt and moved to them had all the best browns and purples in the competition, especially in the light, middle, and middle heavyweight, and the heavy one as well. Guys came from many different parts of Brazil, and they were training with us. Zé Mário Sperry would bring his guys from south of Brazil. There was like great competitors as well because Mario Sperry was amazing competitor. So he had like a group of really good students he would bring from south of Brazil to train before the main competitions to Rio. And in our gym would come Minotauro. I remember when Minotauro as a brown belt came first to the gym to train and nobody knew him in Rio. And then he goes to a competition there as a brown belt and he destroys the guys, he get Rodrigo Comprido, that was one of the amazing guys. He just submit Rodrigo like Rodrigo was nobody, like it
Wow.
was crazy.
Yes.
Yes, like no, Minotauro was like fantastic. What a guy, really. And guys would come pop from different parts of Brazil. So when I joined Murilo and Sergio, they had this called Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club, and it was amazing. But then at some point they broke up between those two, and many coaches from Carson Gracie tried to together make a team called Carson Gracie team, while Carson Gracie Senior was in the United States. Okay, so they put everybody together, everybody was training together. I was still there in this group, and then Carson Grace came from America and had like a money dispute with some of his students because those guys were going to ADCC. Okay, and in this all fallout they had was in the period that I torn my knee ligaments. So I was surgery, and there was big politics in Brazil. You had to choose sides, and I didn't want to choose sides because I had friends on both sides. I got my black belt from Sergio, but Murilo was also my friend. I didn't want like to antagonize anybody, and like I had to choose between three different teams. And if I choose one of those three, the other two, the guys from the other two will be not happy with me. And at some point, I decided I'm not going to choose anything, let my knee heal. But once my knee healed and I moved to London, then I had a problem because I found a place to teach inside the University of London, but I had to create a grappling society, okay, to like all the paperwork. So I had to create my club. And I decided, you know what? I'm not going to choose between those three clubs in Brazil. I'm going to start my own team now because I'm far away from those politics and I don't want to get contaminated by those politics because I like everybody on those three teams. I like the people that were training with Sergio. I like the guys training with Murilo that became the Brazilian top team. And I like the guys from Carson Gracie as well. They were all my friends. We used to be training together before my new operation. And I say, man, you know what? Now is a new period in my life. I'm going to start mostly teaching. This is going to be my focus. So let's make our own team. And I didn't have a name for this team initially in 2003, but I had to create the Grappling Society. At some point, I went back to Brazil. And when Murilo and Sergio split, Murilo had the right to the name Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club. Okay. So I went to Murilo to ask him if he could sell me that name. Actually, I didn't want to use it to copy or use it for free. But he asked me a week to give me an answer, and then he wrote back to me because we met in person, but I wanted to explain my ideas that I didn't want to get involved. And he said to me that he would like to keep the name because the things were funny in the Brazilian top team between him and his partners. They eventually split up as well, but he kept the name. So he never used back the Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club, but he asked me not to use the Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club. He didn't want to sell to me. So I decided to start Rio Grappling Club because I was in London. I had a grappling society and I needed a name for that. So that's the whole origin of the name Rio Grappling Club. And the roots was because this was such a great period of my life of training with such amazing guys. I learned so much as a brown belt and as a black belt, like I wanted to make my team somehow a tribute to the to that team that doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.